Talk to me about filming that reunion in the snow. Were you guys actually outside? How cold were you? Tell me everything, just everything.
Oh man, we were freezing. It was I mean, what, -10 probably. We were just south of just
He's
at the bottom
lying.
of a no,
Come
we were on
on, Brandon.
we, we were on a soundstage in Austin, Texas in the summer. So we shot that entire season pretty much. The whole time was in Austin in the summer. So it was 100 degrees, 100% humidity. It was hot. And you couldn't have the AC on when you're filming because it's loud.
Right.
So yeah, they built, I mean, the production design was wild. They built a football field length of a snow embankment, and then lit a car on fire on top of it, and that's where we shot that scene. And a lot of good cold acting going on. Um,
Yes. Very good
yeah,
cold acting.
she did a lot of great cold acting. I didn't have to do too much, but I believed it in the moment.
Julia, thank you for fact checking your co-star. I appreciate you on that. Also, this is the moment that everyone is waiting for, right? Like, did you guys, Julia, I'm going to come to you first. Did you feel a pressure there to like, was there any added pressure on that scene?
There was so much pressure with I think the whole story in general with Alex and Spencer, and it was so intense season 2. I didn't have time to think about it, which I think ultimately really helped. And then, we were filming these really difficult scenes away from each other for so much of the season. And the first scene we shot together was the reunion. And so I think everyone on set, the crew, Brandon and I, we all just kind of like took a breath and like, my director, Ben, he said to me when Spencer and I run and collide, he was like, it's almost like, because we had to find another level of her emotions because she'd already been through so much. And he was like, it's like you are a kid going to your first day of school or coming back from your first day of school and you had a horrible day and you see your mom. And I feel like that's such a good way to put how we also felt on that day, everyone in the room, because finally what everyone's been waiting for, they're back together. And I think Brandon and I felt that too.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
came back so naturally, it really did. We'd established that dynamic.
And then you get like 5 minutes before everything goes to again. So I mean, that's great. First of all, that prosthetic baby John, there's a lot of lingering shots of it. So I feel like I know it very well, but did it have the weight of like a kid?
Yeah, it was incredible. There were 3. Brandon was giggling because Brandon kept wanting to play with the baby. And I was like, don't you dare touch my child. I got so protective soccer. But there was one that was gray for like special effects that we didn't use too much. There was a robot baby that they could control with a remote that would move. And then there was the favorite baby because they realized it was like this jelly weighted skin, like flesh colored baby. And if you just, it was so incredibly made because if you just like subtly moved your fingers, it looked like it was moving on its own. I became very protective of our child. Brandon wanted to play with the baby. I wouldn't let him.
And what
Yeah.
did you do? What were you trying to do?
I was just making him dance, and he was so nimble, so responsive to movement. Athletic child already, I could tell. And yeah, and he has like little mouth, and I'd make it like like talk, and then move its hands and stuff. It was a heavy couple days. So I mean, it was just a nice little shot of levity. But
Yeah,
being the protective mama she is, she did not let me around that baby all that much. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it. You both also had, correct me if I'm wrong, your first scenes with Harrison Ford were both in this episode, right?
Yeah.
Julia, tell me about that, especially because a lot is going on for Alex as she's kind of figuring out what's up. As she's sitting there with Jacob, when do you think it turns for her? When do you think that she realizes like this may not end well?
I think she knows before that. I think Alex knows on the train after Spencer gets off. That it's not in the cards for her. She knows. I think her body just knows. And I think at that point it's just like, I need to have this baby and make sure it stays alive for however long I have left. But that scene with Harrison, that birthing scene was the first day I worked with Harrison. It was so intense. It's such a somber moment but also full of a lot of joy. You know, she's got her baby and the baby's alive, and Harrison is just the greatest. And I was really that day looking to him because it's Harrison Ford to be like, however he works, like I want to respect that.
Mhm.
He gave me the floor. He took such good care of me. He knew when to crack jokes to bring levity to it. I was so exhausted and traumatized both as Alex and Julia, and he was just this fatherly figure for me. And, you know, hugged me and just like we cried together, and I was just like, I can't believe I'm staring into Harrison Ford's eyes sobbing. And even when they called cut on the day on the scene, we just stayed in that room for a little while longer together, which I mean, I don't think I will process that for a very long time, but he's so special as a person.
That's such a juxtaposition to what Brandon had to do with him, right? Which is like, look in the eye, let's go kill people, let's walk out while like things are blowing up. Talk to me about that interaction, Brandon.
Yeah, my first day with Harrison was the scene where I kill Whitfield. That was my first day with Timothy. Well, my only day with Timothy. That was the most nervous I've been on a set, to be honest, in a very, very long time. Yeah, it's a trip when you walk in a room and you've got Harrison Ford and Timothy Dalton. You take a moment of pause and just to take it in, you know, it's cool. And then try and get as far away from that as possible so they can be, you know, Whitfield and your uncle. That pressure is also fun. I like that pressure of just kind of coming up against something new. There's a lot of room in that to do something cool.
Before I have to let you guys go, Brandon, talk to me about the possibility of Spencer showing up in the next prequel.
Well, I think that it is possible. I think that it would be possible. I think someone's got to teach that kid how to ride a horse and shoot a gun and take better care of himself than Spencer did. So, yeah, if that's something in the cards, I'd be down.